The funny thing about France that they spent only like 2 weeks, and they were like, oh, okay, sorry guys, we are out of that.
So, for the next topic, how the war between the Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union is called by your textbook? What's the name of it?
If you don't mind, can I also continue? Yeah. The main idea here that we usually call this not World War II, but the Great Patriotic War.
Yes.
For us, it started on the 22nd of June of 1941, not in 39, and ended in 9th of May in 1945. So for Russians, the Great Patriotic War is the war between Soviet Union, Soviet people, and Nazi Germany, fascist Germany. And of course, obviously, like Soviet countries, also Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, they have suffered a lot. For us, it is a very painful period of history. But one thing that you have to understand about how we represent it now, like I think that all of you are familiar that right now, like post-Soviet countries are seeking for a new identity. They are trying to identify themselves. And for us in Russia, the Great Patriotic Wars is one of the main things that is very important. And we still celebrate Victory Day every single year. Even it has passed 77 years. Like this year it will be 77 years. But still, for us, it is very important holiday. And even we here in China, we do celebrate it because parents of my grandparents, some of them died, like some of them suffered from. It was a brutal, absolutely devastating period in our history. And every Russian family still have that memory. We still celebrate that Victory Day. It's very important for us. It's one of the most important holidays in Russia still. So from this point of view, you can understand that the Great Patriotic War is very important for us. But another interesting thing here that, for example, some Russians, they even don't know that World War II. So the Great Patriotic War is one of our most important things that shapes us, a part of our identity. And the World War II, something that was happening maybe in Pacific Ocean or in Northern Africa, is not that important. It was like something somewhere else.
Yeah, and also I want to add that exactly this war has touched every family, because every family has relatives who like fight it in this Great Patriotic War. And I also want to add that one of the main events of this Great Patriotic War, which is extensively described in the textbooks, is the siege of Leningrad, which is now St. Petersburg. It's called blockade of Leningrad. And it started in 1941, and it was happening for 900 days and 900 nights. The situation was really it's a tragedy for everyone. And it's described a lot in the textbooks, and I think it's good because everyone must know how our people survived during this time.
It is actually a very important thing. Why do we have to remember about this? Because it was a lesson for all of us, for whole humanity. It was a very painful but very important lesson. So we have to remember, we have to think about it a lot, we have to analyze it. Still, it's very important. Because if we will remember this lesson, we won't go into accept Third World War, yeah? And especially it's very important to think about it right now, in terms of what is happening between Russia and Ukraine.
In the textbook, the Great Patriotic War is separate from the other theaters of the World War II, right? So how the other countries, like 1939 in Poland, in 40 in France, in 41 Pearl Harbor, USA, UK, all of these Western countries, how those countries are described in the textbook? Are they your allies, or the part of this Western bloc that's different than USSR?
Yes.
So
It's actually, again, very interesting, a very good question. Yeah, we have a tension between Russia and the United States, but still, in our textbooks, United States is one of our main allies. And thanks to their help, maybe you're familiar with Lend-Lease. So our American allies, they provided a supply of not only like machines, but also food. So it was a very, very important and significant.
It's not mentioned a lot these days.
Right now, things are started to change, yes, because of tension between our countries. But still, you can find this information in our textbooks. I'm pretty sure about it. And if you think about France, no. The funny thing about France that they spent only like 2 weeks, and then they were like, oh, okay, sorry guys, we are out of that.
Both of you came from Vladivostok.
Yes.
Have you any like older generations of your family that participated in their war?
Yes, of course.
Every Russian family
Yes.
has. So that's why it's very important for us. Yeah.
Describe a little bit more.
Yes. For example, my grandfather, father of my grandmother, he was a partisan, and he was killed by Germans when he got captured. And mother of my grandmom, she was crying a lot, and because of that, she kind of lost her mind, and she was also killed by fascists. All the brothers of my grandfather was a young boy. He was only 7 years old when the war started, and he also went into the woods. But his older brothers, I think 3 brothers, all of them participated in actual war, and some of them had some medals, but I think only one of them managed to come back. Yeah, every Russian family has relatives who took part in this war, and not all of them were so lucky to get back.
Wow.
As you mentioned about the history of the World War II, as all of our Chinese people know that finally it is Soviet Union soldier who conquered Berlin, right? Who finished the government of Hitler. So we also know that there's a famous picture that Soviet Union soldier that
With
flag. Yes.
Nowadays, the Western social media, they're trying to restrict people publish this photo on those platforms.
We didn't know.
For example, in Facebook,
So
there are some like Russian user of the Facebook that try to post this image to celebrate, the Victory Day, and they got banned. I mean, that's pretty nonsense.
So how do you evaluate this? Why do they want to do this?
I think obviously a very slicky move. But again, like in contemporary world, we have a tension between our countries. Russia and Soviet Union are not allies anymore, so everyone is trying to use all these tools that they have. So from this point of view, it's understandable, but of course it's just mean. I don't think
really
it's a good move.
Surprising for me to hear that, but I just want to mention that sometimes, and maybe even often, countries trying to rewrite the history, and they just writing about the events which are not happened, that someone won the war which he didn't participate, and so on. So if other countries think that Russia is aggressor, maybe they just want to
show us in a bad light,
yes, and don't want to show that this was Russia who won this war, who helped to end this Nazi period.
But the main difference here that the war was happening on the territory of Soviet republics, of Ukraine, Belarus, Russia itself. The United States, of course, they were very helpful, absolutely, no doubt in that. But the war was not happening on their territory. It's just incomparable.
And also,
and people just don't know about these things nowadays. So it's easy, to ban someone on Facebook because there is obvious tension between our countries.
In contemporary Russia, what is the Great Patriotic War for? Is to defend a Russian country, a Russian nation that's invaded by a foreigner, or is to defend communist ideology and its system, or is both?
I think it's not about ideology, but for us, I think still, yeah, it's all about unity of the people.
Yes.
It's all about proudness of being independent, of being Russians, of how we managed to overcome this cruelty and how we managed to defeat fascism with maybe not that humanistic approach, because when people think about communists, they're like, oh, communists are not better than fascists. Come on, guys, you just don't understand anything. For us, it's all about unity. It's all about how Soviet people managed to overcome this turbulent time. So because of that, it is still one of foundations of our self-understanding, of our identity. And that is why we still celebrate Victory Day.